On the agenda is a public hearing regarding NU3 LLC, a request for a zoning map change to a 9.74 acre parcel, tax map 12-1-47. Would someone like to make a motion? We open the public hearing regarding this request.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, I love the big
Turnout.
people we have out here.
A lot of interest. Or people know the adjoining. The early adjoining property.
That's called cheddar banging away back there.
It
Oh,
was
I wouldn't
advertised in the
surprise.
newspaper. Zone change does not require
sticking up his ass.
certified mailings like a subdivision.
I see.
You know what? You guys
Well,
gotta
we
feed
gotta
his
do it,
family,
kind of
you
do
know
it
what
this
I'm
way
saying?
so
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie can see it, the
Shop
others,
like
you know,
close.
just in case, I mean, we've seen.
Hey, finally something comes down this end.
There you go.
Well, as we all get older down this, we need more glasses, and I can see it now.
Let me turn this on. Maybe it's on.
That's good. Yes, we were here before the board about a month or so ago, and we had requested that, we were requesting a map amendment, zone change for the parcel of land that's located on at the intersection of Gate Schoolhouse Road and 17M. The site's a little over 9 acres, 5 plus or minus acres are zoned highway commercial. This is the site right here. The red is the highway commercial zone or the HC zone. And then the other 4 acres approximately are in the lighter green, and that's on the RU. They've been, and you probably are aware of it, they've been marketing this piece of land for quite some time. They very actively marketed after the adoption of the 2009 zoning code from this board. And all the inquiries have really been at a commercial level. We have no real interest in developing this residential. You know, if you're familiar with it, this is Lamb Electric. The Bob's Gun Shop is here, you know, the infamous Turi landfill, and then the other industrial zone uses down 17M. So what we're proposing to do, as described in the petition, is basically rezone the entire parcel HC. So the 4 plus or minus acres in the back would be also zoned HC. In terms of marketability, we've increased the gross acreage. It allows for a little bit more commercial development of that parcel because most of the development in the HC zone is regulated by development coverage. And in this zone, we can do 70% development coverage. Add to the gross, and you can produce a little bit bigger building and a little more development. And that's the game plan. Luke?
I know it's a public hearing, but I had a few questions. The last time you were here, I forgot the answers. I can't find my notes. There's a red house or a barn or something here on the top part of the hill, like?
Yeah, there's actually a house, there's a residential house right about there.
Right.
It's like a pinkish reddish
Yeah.
color. Yeah, I'm not sure what color that is.
Is that on the?
You're going to ask me what color that is?
No. I called it red already, so. Is that on the commercial side?
It's on the commercial side.
So the house is on the commercial side, okay. And as far as not the frontage, Steve, because I know, I can see how, but just to get a little idea of pieces right here, okay. The frontage on Gate Schoolhouse Road, what is the difference? You know, do you have an idea what the HC is, the frontage on Gate Schoolhouse versus the residential part? Because I'm trying to get a feel for the length of that property.
I mean, it's about halfway, believe it or not. I mean, this is, if you look at this distance and this distance, the rate be just a hair bit more residential in terms of road frontage.
So basically where that house is sitting, probably on the backyard of that house starts to...
This starts the residential.
Oh, so I get it.
And then the pink part there, what is that?
You have this, the heavier or darker.
Dark, right.
This is the CO.
Yeah, that's the CO piece that you just had your finger on. Where is the new subdivision being built relative to that, with all those, the new homes being built?
Yeah, that's the Goshen Meadows.
Yeah,
by Mr. Macon.
yeah.
That's this parcel right here.
So it would come, okay,
So actually this,
it would come right up to the edge of his.
yeah, the little cul-de-sac
Yes.
that's existing there now,
Yeah.
off of Gates Schoolhouse Road is right there. So, this,
So you're not very far from his subdivision.
correct.
But that other, the other part that you pointed
Abuts.
out, right there?
Yeah.
That's already commercial?
That's already commercial.
And that's in the back of the Lamb Electric?
Correct.
Okay.
Just as a comment, the board, I think, needs to explore that with the applicant, just so that the applicant is aware. There's always ex parte communications and contacts on this. There is some concern by the property owners out there that the commercial district may be encroaching in the residential area. And why I bring that up is I'm sure Steve knows this, and the board is aware of it. Because it's a zoning change, you have the absolute ultimate power. You're the only board who's authorized under state law to do that type of thing. As such, you can either grant or not grant the zoning change without explanation. I mean, I just want you to, I think you do understand how broad your powers are in regards the zone change. And unfortunately, I think in the past, in the years I've been here, sometimes the applicant and the boards don't necessarily see eye to eye, and nobody can figure out why it happened or what happened, depending upon approval or disapproval. So I just mentioned that in passing, because there is some consternation in that regard.
Now, what is the property that once you rezone it? What is that property? It looks like a building lot next to it, right there in the green, right there.
Right there.
What is that?
It's tax parcel.
No, is there a house on that property?
I don't know if there's a house on that property. You know there's one on this property?
Yeah,
There's a couple.
right. There's several in there.
Several in here.
Yeah.
And then there's one house
I
way
mean,
in the back.
I guess one of my concerns is also we're coming down Gate School Road. We're off of 17M. We're now coming down Gate School Road, getting toward residential areas where they're building the meadows, et cetera, et cetera. And if there's a house on that, I've got to drive out and look at that and see if there is, because you're
Well-
coming right up to it.
Well, not really, because one of the things that, and again, one of the drawbacks and why we're seeking this, if you recall, seeking this zone change is that whenever a commercial zone abuts a residential zone, you have a substantial setback, a 90-foot setback from any development. So besides the fact that you're reducing, the acreage is limited in terms of commercial development. You also have along these back property lines a pretty hefty setback. So, and that setback would also be here. So this piece, essentially would be undevelopable, but you can still take the gross acreage and use it in your development along 17M.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask, was that, although I guess it's not a definite type of thing, that parcel that's going to be potentially changed to highway commercial really wouldn't be built on. It would just allow for a bigger building to be built on the parcel that's already highway commercial.
Correct. We could take advantage. You could actually take advantage of the 70% development. Yeah.
Plus, there's pretty well steep slopes in there too, is it not?
Yeah, this gets
Yeah, that
it's
gets
pretty
high up there.
topographically challenged. Yeah, the whole piece is tough. So,
But yet across the street is commercial.
yeah, across the street is all commercial.
Is anybody doing anything on that?
I actually talked to somebody about that piece of land last week, believe it or not. I could just explain that.
Lamb doesn't own that.
No.
Okay.
All right, does anybody in the public have a comment or question regarding this property?
This, I noticed in, I believe it's Rick Golden's letter, that this was apparently a little bit controversial at the planning board level, as the final vote came down 5-2. I wonder if there's anyone in the room that knew, what was the why did two people vote against it?
Were you there, Rennie, for that particular meeting? Could you share with us what the controversy was, do you recall?
I don't remember being mentioned controversy.
Okay.
Was this a planning board meeting?
Yes, the planning board meeting. The vote was 5-2 at the planning board.
Yes. Susan Cleaver had exceptions that this area had been filled in, and filled in to make it a marketable commodity. Do you remember that, Steve? Were you at that meeting?
No, we were unaware that it was on the agenda.
Now, that's the part along 17M, I think, has been filled in. But this
Yes.
other part that you're talking about is straight up.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing I remember
No,
from
that's-
that meeting.
It's up there, like right out by.
Surabachi.
They would like to probably use it.
So it wasn't really a controversy, Ray, it was just that some people decided to vote against it.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion then, we continue this we'll close the public hearing and, not take that. We stop this evening taking comments, but we keep the public hearing open until we hear from the county.
You can or cannot, as the case
Well, I
may
think,
be.
I want to hear from the county.
Well, the 30 days for their response has lapsed.
Well, that's right, it went out on the 19th.
19th, yes, so they missed.
October?
Excuse me?
19th of October.
Yeah, They have to
So
comment within
if they
30
don't,
days.
if they don't comment within 30 days, then we just move forward?
Correct.
You have the right to,
You have the right
you
to.
don't have to.
But we also have the right to contact the county and say,
Yeah.
hey, listen,
Yeah,
this is what happened here.
Yes, which is a good policy. Not that they shouldn't be
No.
held to their time limit.
Right.
You know.
I'd like to hear from the county. Because I've heard the planning board, I think we have our basic questions answered. And no one from the public has any interest in it, so I think the county gave one more opportunity to hear maybe something we don't know.
But we could close the public hearing and then still.
Yes,
Before we
you
make
could
a
await
decision.
input or see accept it for yes, you could.
What would be the difference if we closed it or just kept it open? It doesn't matter.
Not a whole lot.
If we keep it open, then the county comments, it'll just go into comments. And then we can close it and vote on it immediately, yeah.
Okay, you can't. No, not a zoning
But if we
change.
close it, it's closed. I don't think
What was your comment, Steve?
Oh, I was just, I'm going to ask you that we do close the public hearing, because, we'd like to keep moving forward, and that's just the next step in the process. Obviously, you have the right to, before you make any decision, allow the county planning department to weigh in. I personally hand-delivered it there, so I know they got it. It's unusual. They usually, particularly in the town of Goshen, usually pretty good getting back to the board, at least the planning board, and within the 30-day comment period. So,
Well, if we close the public hearings, what's your next step to move forward? Without voting on it,
right,
so what would you do?
I'm going to request to be on your next meeting.
Yes, just so you're aware, just
Yeah.
Steve and I just had a little
Yeah.
colloquy about the time limits, okay? I do not believe there's any time limit within which the board must act in terms of the zoning change application. Steve believes that there may be a time requirement, so I think in fairness, they're interested in moving it along because they want a response, possibly by default, if action is not taken. I don't necessarily agree with that theory, but, it's something I can discuss with them further.
But Dennis, before you just said that they need to do more with what environmental work?
We have another issue. I believe, based upon the information I have available, that although this is an unlisted action, because it's in an agricultural district,
Right.
it will require a full EAF form. Now, again, that sounds onerous. It's just a more elaborate, few more pages, if you will, added to, detail-wise, the environmental assessment form, which they've already submitted. Again, Steve and I were discussing that earlier. He doesn't necessarily agree with that position. So, and then, if you follow, then once you receive it, it becomes a question of, as you know, we haven't, tonight, at a minimum, you should designate yourselves lead agency, et cetera, because at some point in time, you've got to make a decision as to whether there is any other studies or information you want looked at vis-a-vis the zoning change. Again, as the board's aware, I don't mean to be verbose, but the planning board, if the zoning change occurs, will deal with all these issues I'm speaking of in great depth, depending on what project comes before them, site plan or otherwise. but it also, at this time, behooves you to at least take a look at it and determine in your own minds whether you want more information. Just like with the other application we have before us on the zoning change, which is across the street. Okay, same concepts.
So Dennis,
Yep,
can we keep the public hearing open?
you can.
All right.
Next meeting's the 5th.
December.
Right.
Only one in December, right?
No, there's one then and one.
December 5, December 8.
Right.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay, that week,
Right.
okay, yeah.
Right.
What's the board would like to do?
I'm with Phil, we'll just keep it open.
All right.
Doesn't affect one way or the other.
As long as it has no effect.
Right. All right, would someone like to make a motion, then we keep the public hearing open?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, we need to appoint ourselves a lead agency for this.
Yeah, I would recommend that you, again, the same motion, you designate the town board of the town of Goshen as
Right.
lead agency in connection with the application, and that it's typed as an unlisted action. I just someone so move that.
Would someone like to move that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sure.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I assume it's the intention then to have this on again for.
5th of December.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at that point, if we get everything we need, we can close it and vote
Right.
immediately.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no time delay.
In that regard.
Mainly,
I don't see any real downside to that.
No, I don't either.
No.
No, you may want to get to me before then and discuss these other issues, just so that, you know, it's no loose ends.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that was easy. Okay. The next item on the agenda is, I've discussed with our labor attorney, our budget we passed last meeting. And in fact, we were going to,
We have to get that.
okay, let's go, guys. And that we were going to make the police chief position a part-time job, okay? And she said that what she would recommend to us is to have a motion this evening, and I'm going to read this to you. Discuss and approve a motion to eliminate the full-time competitive position of police chief A, and to create a part-time non-competitive position of police chief. Would someone like to make a motion in that regard?
So move.
Is
Second.
there- Any discussion?
Just before you get it.
Yes.
Whose is that? Is that yours, Steve?
No.
No, that's,
Fancy.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
is this,
Okay. Yeah, I've talked to you before, yeah.
Dennis, can we make this motion and not discuss salary or anything else? Just make the motion
Yes, you
to
can.
just do that and then.
Correct.
yeah, that's what,
Yeah, yeah.
this is just, this is the job position, none of the specifics,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
Any discussion?
Just one or two comments. This was actually part of our budget that we had
Right.
passed, correct?
Correct.
You know, some of the cutbacks that we did across the board, including the police department.
Right.
So this is just continuing on
This is
what
making it legal.
what we had to do that. So I just wanted to point that out to the public.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item is, we have a request from Giovanni Paraglia. His appointment to the Board of Assessment Review has expired back September 30th. We've got a letter from him requesting that he be reappointed to the Assessment Board of Review. The new term would be from 9/30/2011 to 9/30/2016. I'd like to make a motion in that regard.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
Just that he has already served us, and we
Yeah.
feel that he certainly is doing a very capable job, and I feel like he's ready to continue on.
Yep.
Not only is he doing this, but he's also on the planning board,
gonna ask you
and
that.
he can do both.
He can do both? Okay.
Yes, yeah. And he's doing very well there, so I thank him for his service. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is, would someone like to make a motion to authorize a supervisor to pay manual accounts payable runs as of 11/15/2011, amounting to $5,064.99, and accounts payable check run for 11/17/2011. Val, what's the number?
I know, it's just, okey-dokey, I have it here, running to $185,070.37.
Okay, so $185,070.35. Would someone like to make a motion in that regard?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're now open for privilege of the floor and anything anybody would like to talk
Can I
about.
have the floor for that?
Sure.
I was prepared to give a report tonight because this is the last meeting of the month, but I don't have that much. But anyway, I just want to put something into the record, even though the press is not here. We received a letter from two constituents on Meadowbrook, Mrs. Drake and then Mrs. Ward, thanking the Highway Department. Actually, we are the residents of Ham Park. Today, your crew did a wonderful job of cleaning up all the debris caused by the hurricane on Meadowbrook Lane. They were extremely neat and efficient. Many thanks to the entire crew. Great job. I just wanted to read that in because there was a lot of criticism going on back when we had the hurricane, and it's nice to get some compliments. Okay? And I just got one other thing I want to, no, I don't have to do that because Jerry's not here. So, okay, thank you.
I'd like to say that we've also got many, many calls regarding the Highway Department and what they're doing from different subdivisions where they've been working. In reality, they do a very, very nice job. They're just now getting to it because of all the road work they've had to do. And they were started doing this when the asphalt work was being finished. Any other comments from Jerry?
I am a member of the press, by the way. Kadish.
Was that to me, Jeff? I'm sorry.
Well, I ain't talking alone.
And I'm a
Now,
citizen
you'll-
journalist.
Yeah, but you don't write in the paper, do you, Jeff?
Would you like to, would you
He
like,
doesn't know how to write.
Oh, Jeff.
what are you, a smart guy?
Hold
What do you
on.
want to watch your own problem
Uses
here on that
microphones.
camera? What's the matter with you?
Tuesday's the big day, right? Tomorrow. Tomorrow's your day, right? So what is it, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock?
What do you got to ask?
I'm trying to give you some,
What's the matter with you?
I'm trying to give you some free exposure.
You don't have to. Look at my Arbitron ratings. Come on, get with it, will you? Go ask Eddie Diana, ask Bill DeProspo, ask Katie Ballard. They'll all tell you what time I'm
You all
on.
listen?
Oh, yeah.
They record it.
Then they go to a lawyer to see if we can sue them.
What you got for the group tonight, Jerry?
Do you have a report? I understand now that there's been another burglary in Hamiltonian Park. Are you aware of that?
No?
Not,
Well,
I understand the residence was one of the assistant district attorney's houses. That's what I was told today. And I saw BCI cars in and out of the park.
Police have not talked to me today.
Mr. Faust forgot to tell you.
Just the acting chief.
well, the other
Well,
ones
you
were
see,
in
when you're a member of the
Arcadia.
press, you learn these things.
Yes. Well, the other ones were in the Arcadia.
No, all the other ones were in our.
Yes, but it looks now as though
and
it's
also
perhaps
in,
spreading into,
Well, Arcadia Hills in
Park.
Municipal
This
Road.
was
you got a police
another-
commissioner?
I am.
Yeah, maybe you could look into that.
I will look into it.
Thank you.
That's how 8
All right.
7 bucks.
I have one other point.
Sure.
This upcoming appointment for chief of police.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I'm correct, 211 will not come into play here
Right.
because it's a part-time position.
Oh, I don't know that.
The, that could be problematic. How can you give a 211 to one guy and then not to the other?
No. The chief lost his 211.
Pardon?
The chief had lost his 211. He hasn't had a 211.
Oh, I know that.
Right.
Right, but what I'm
But it's,
saying,
it's based on how many dollars you make
right, right.
and so forth and so on.
So you talked to 30,000, is that what the salary is gonna be?
Jeff, you just said something. He wasn't granted a 211?
Yeah.
Well, not from the board. He
No,
was granted.
retirement board.
Right.
And which I discussed this, I find that very interesting. when such personalities as the former colonel in New York State Police, who now is the second in command of the county, he has one. The undersheriff, Kenneth Jones, has one. And then there are also many members of the district attorney's office investigative staff. They also have 211s. To me, it was like kind of...
The Department of Pensions and Benefits makes that decision.
That's correct.
And we apply for it like everybody else, and
Right.
you're given it or not given it. So
It just seemed to me to be somewhat, in my opinion, discriminatory. Because, matter of fact, the governor we have now, when he was the Attorney General, many of his investigators were ex-New York City cops, and they had 211s. So let me move on now to this present situation we have.
right.
Do you have available what the criteria is going to be for this job?
We're going to be defining that.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Would you like to jump?
Not me.
No? Okay.
All right.
No,
Anybody
no.
else got anything for the group? Would someone like to make a motion?
I was just looking around. I was being
You take so long.
I was being courteous. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I could see that.
Before I get into this, do you feel that there's any necessity to discuss the posting of the budget on the website?
No, I mentioned that we'll look into it definitely.
But does it need to be discussed here?
No.
Okay. George, Councilman Lyons, inquired as to whose that was on the table.
I thought it was a clip from a gun.
Well, it could be C4, who knows?
That's what happened in New York. I wouldn't be talking like that.
You do have a point.
And
However, it is almost as powerful because that is a digital recorder. Records in MP3 format on an 8 gig card. If you lower the quality, that can record up to 500 hours. At high quality, it can record for about 12 hours on a little 8 gig card that's the size of my pinky nail. I had discussed this with Councilman Canarino over the weekend.
Yep.
Currently, you post minutes. Now, you know, I've made an issue of the general field of communications, and I don't feel any of the municipal boards are doing an adequate job of communicating. The computer file that records can be posted the next day on your website as an audio file. Somebody can go jogging, they can commuting to work, they can load it on their iPod, they can listen to the meetings. It's one more point of access that you can make available at virtually no cost. That cost, I got a good deal on that, but it cost me $65 at the most. If you went out to buy that on the open market, you'd probably pay about $100 to $150. An 8 gig card you can pick up for another $10 to $12. That has a 2 gig card in it now. I've been recording with this. I recorded the last town board meeting. The sound quality out of that, just on the automatic settings, is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. You're recording the meetings anyway. Now, you can go out and buy that. You've already got MP3s right there, right behind Val. That machine is recording MP3s. We missed a piece of the council's explanation from a meeting. As I was changing batteries, we were able to lift sound off your system, lay it in over the video for that meeting, and just get the rest of his. It's just an MP3 file. We just picked it off with an audio editor. So you already have it. You don't even have to go out and buy that, although I would suggest that's probably a good idea, rather than using the radio mics. By the way, if you do this, you really need to insist that people use the mics, because the amplified speakers make a big difference in what.
Well, we try to do that anyway, because to
But people don't
record
like to,
it,
they-
well, no, I understand, but we miss them. If they don't talk into the mic, it's not recorded.
Right.
So that's the way it is.
And Mr. Canarino is so soft-spoken and gentlemanly that you can hardly hear him anyway.
Most of the time, that's correct.
Even with the mic.
Oh, my.
So,
Okay.
this
Very
is just
good.
one more point. You know that I've pushed for all of the boards to be streaming their own meetings.
Okay.
And I'll bring that, later on the table again. I think you should stream your own meetings. Again, there are a lot of people that can't get here that would watch it in real time if it were available.
Oh, they're all out there almost every night.
You have,
I mean, I don't-
I'll swing
how
around.
many-
So
how many hits do you have
I'm
on
about
your
to say,
business?
you have empty chairs here. However, for every meeting that we put up, the views online
Right.
are running
Of Goshen, and a proposed intermunicipal agreement, and also the status update of the CSEA negotiations.
One more.
Second. Well, has anybody else got anything they'd like to add to that? George?
There was a question, I guess, as we were talking this afternoon, a legal question over the JRC and
Right.
posting signs.
Right. So also a legal question regarding use of signs at the joint recreation parks. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
Yes.
And keep out of trouble. And I'm about to say keep out of trouble, but I don't.
Hey, you want Friday? This Friday? No, I'm gonna be in Syracuse. So, I'm going over